Hello.
I was right.
Yes, you were. And this is Ed.
I'm still right.
And that's Will. And yes, unfortunately, he's right. We were talking about convergence. And one of the things we've been talking about was Will's prediction that with convergence, there would be at least some continuities where they would give them to you for just a brief moment and then go bye-bye.
And that's just basically what they're going to do with every continuity. To some extent, it's just going to take longer with some than others.
And it starts out with the Injustice world, shows it to you, throws it out very, very quickly within just the first few pages.
Tell you what, let me save you all time.
Go
Convergence in 30 seconds. Haha, I am Superman and I am evil. Well, come on, Superman. Why don't you just be nice and help us save the world even though it's already destroyed? No, I won't. And then the world just gets destroyed. Maybe I should help them. Nah, I'm just gonna keep flying around because I think I can... Oh, hey, we're on Telos now instead of dead. And then, oh, look, what other heroes? What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? Hi, I am Telos, and here are my liquid Dragon Ball GT things. And then they fight those for a little bit, and then... Oh, look, there's all these worlds, and there can be only one! Hey, everybody, you remember those earlier reset things? I'm going to reference those in my speech. Look, did you like Infinite Crisis? I referenced that. Isn't that great writing? Hey, did you like those other reset button comics? This is great writing and how I referenced them very, very thinly veiled. And then it's done.
And that's basically Convergence. What they did was a lot of exposition, a lot of setup here.
Which they've already done months of.
Basically. The only things here that you really learn is that...
Convergence is still happening. That's it.
That's about it.
That's it. We know it's been happening for weeks.
Now, you get a couple of clues, though.
Weeks!
You get a couple of clues here. One thing is the fact that the Injustice world, which is great video games and is very well selling in digital format, you know that it's not going to really go away. So you know that because it's the first world to go, that at the end of Convergence, not all the worlds that you see die will stay dead. The other thing being is that Telos spent so much time saying there can be only one that you know there won't be only
but
one.
Here's the thing. Maybe that they're going to stay dead in that they're not in the current continuity as the main canon, and that they'll still exist in their own expanded universe kind of things, but they won't be considered part of the mainline DC lineup.
And that may be true. There's going to be around 24 25 books that will be considered the main DC lineup, the main continuity. And the other books, which an equal amount
well,
of
they'll probably still exist to some extent, but just, you know.
Right, just not in the main continuity of DC Comics. And I'm okay with that part of it. I like the idea of having different ways of storytelling, and that's one of the big lessons that has come out of the New 52, is that they need to have a variety of ways of telling stories.
Which they start by having all the writers work on one story. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I just think that, I don't know, I just don't like that everything exists until we don't need it anymore, then goodbye because it's not going to sell. And then the next reset button, oh look, everything exists again.
Right. Now, let me get a drink of water here while we're talking about this.
Anyway, it's just, I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of what's going on right now. I can't wait until it's over. And what feels the weirdest is that I've grown up with so many overpowered, entities.
Oh, and they've really overpowered this one.
But, like, we've got our 50 Sues, we've got our, what-have-yous, Superboy Primes, just to come in and be super powerful for a little bit. But we've had so many of them, I'm like, okay, what are the monitors doing? What are the anti-monitors doing? Because this would seem like a threat to the anti-monitor's power. What is Mxyzptlk doing? Because you'd think that if he'd at least want one Superman to screw around with, or he might find, hey, look, an entire multiverse of Supermans I can screw around with. Or maybe Batmite, from the same universe Mxyzptlk is from, would go, oh, look, all these Batmans I can help out, and then I'm failing actively. Or maybe, and you'd think that maybe, the New Gods, which are literally, level 5 intellectuals or something like that, that literally have the anti-life formula just laying around. Give Darkseid the anti-life formula. Give Darkseid the anti-life formula. Or just put this new Brainiac inside of the sun and surround him with Green Lanterns because that's how we deal with all of our problems.
The point here is that our fear is they've overpowered the villains so much that we're worried that the conclusion may not be very satisfying, because how do you work this out? Once you've made the bad guy so super duper powerful, how do you bring him down?
Spoiler alert, Superman flies around the multiverse in reverse and turns back time to when this new Brainiac was born and beats him.
So, to wrap this up right now, there's not a lot you can learn about Convergence when you get a couple of clues as to what the series' direction may be. It's mostly exposition to get started, and I'm willing to see where it leads.
There's been too much exposition already. I'm done with exposition. Get on with it.
And they'll continue with this coming week, but we'll get back to that in a second. Let's talk a little bit about tie-ins. Now, here's the thing that you need to keep in mind for tie-ins, and it's one good thing here, is you don't have to buy all the tie-ins. You won't be missing something if you buy some but not others. You won't be missing that much if you don't buy any at all.
No more squares with asterisks going, hey, we're referencing something you've never read before and you probably will never find the copy of ever again unless you have thousands of dollars laying around.
So the point here is you're going to get to see one last hurrah from a lot of different storylines and characters that have not appeared in the New 52. Things that you may have missed from several continuities back that you really wish had been played out. Now keep in mind, we're playing that against the backdrop of being in a dome for a year, super people losing their superpowers for a year. When the domes drop, the battle is on to save their world. So they've still got to work that into the deal, but you do get to see a few things like the Dick Grayson Barbara Gordon relationship that existed before the New 52 with Nightwing and Oracle, written by Gail Simone. That's really good. You see some other things here. You get to see the Stephanie Brown Batgirl. You get to see a lot of things here.
And then there's Flash.
Now, for Speed Force, we get to see the one character that folks wanted to see the most in the New 52 and never really got to see in his original form, and that's Wally West, red-haired and green-eyed as the Flash.
Oh, of course.
So, he gets to come back in here with his kids, Jay and Iris.
Well, I'm going to call it Impulse and Impulse Jr. for now.
And Linda is nowhere to be seen. But he comes to Gotham. His JLA communicator is brought in the heroes, and that's sort of their plot device to get everybody there. The
Flash is a plot device.
Well, and we'll get to that in a second because you're right. But you do get to see for his year, he's trying to get out from the dome. The dome drops. He gets his powers back, and then they use him as a plot device to show how wide a scope this world is. Now, I get that to a certain extent because...
But don't they already have the screens showing how, like...
Well, yes and no. I mean, you do get... A speedster going to the different cities can give you a sense of the vastness of this blood moon and all the different worlds on it. But at the same time, it pushes him back from being the lead character and having any kind of character development to almost being physically in the panels, pushed into the background and becoming sort of a framing device, a plot device.
For the Zoo Crew, shoot-a-bop-bop-a-doo-bop! Yeah!
And you do see the Zoo Crew coming up here. But that's my one complaint about Speed Force. It was great to see Wally. It was great to see the kids. It was a little bit tough in those few pages to see him turn into a plot device where they could have spent those pages giving you more of Wally, because you know this isn't going to last. You know that afterwards he won't be around in this form.
And also my least favorite Wonder Woman. I can't wait to see when
the Flashpoint Wonder Woman.
When she mercilessly slaughters children for no reason.
So here's where we go with this, is that the domes drop. Now, during this year, just to let you know too, a lot of the heroes and villains have been, why bother? And others have been very heroic. You'll get to see which ones do what. You get to see Superman with Lois Lane married and expecting a baby. You get to see, again, Stephanie Brown as Batgirl. You'll see all these things. The point here is, if there's one character or one timeline you really, really, really miss, check that out. Save your money on the rest, because there's going to be new books. There's like 40 different tie-ins with 2 issues each, plus the weekly Convergence. So we're trying to save you a little bit of cash here. Hopefully this will end well, but we've got some nerves about where this may lead.
Yeah, new prediction. As the Convergence story arc goes on, and the more creators and the more characters are introduced, the probability of a continuity or a character, etc. and so forth, that was beloved by some, but maybe not enough that the DC universe feels like they should be respected, the probability of a continuity or a character being unscrupulously and unceremoniously killed off for no reason approaches 1.
You mean like the Justice Riders?
Well, yes, but worse.
Yeah. Because the Justice Riders they're gone.
In a way that would mock the legacy that storyline has.
So we'll see. We don't expect it to be for some of the major storylines, but when you've got this many continuities,
it's bound to happen. Like with the Iron Men, or the
you mean the Metal Men?
I'm calling them the Iron Men. And then we have Dial H for Hero, and then we have
Sugar and Spike.
Oh yeah, and then Star and Stripe.
So we'll see what comes out. But let's talk a little bit about what is coming up. This coming week, Convergence 2 comes up. You get Convergence Aquaman, Batman Shadow of the Bat, Catwoman, and a lot of these are like...
Convergence.
You're going back to around like the 0 Hour era.
Convergence Deadpool?
No. But Green Arrow...
Convergence Archie?
Green Lantern Parallax, which ought to be interesting, and the Bwahaha Justice League.
Wait. How can Green Lantern be a Parallax if Parallax is now the embodiment of yellow?
But keep in mind...
I mean, I know that we did this before with Hal Jordan, but now with the new way that the Green Lanterns are set up...
But see, they're going back to the world back when he was Parallax. They're going back to that time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like they're going back to the 90s Justice League International that was called the Bwahaha Justice League. It was actually pretty cool. You get to see the Superboy Connell that was just after the death of Superman when he still was wearing the leather jacket. You see the Supergirl Matrix, which you would not remember, but after Crisis on Infinite Earths, the first Supergirl they brought back was sort of an artificial life form.
You mean the one with the fire wings?
Eventually, you're right. Eventually, they did give her the fire wings.
I remember fire wings, Dad.
That's right. That was just before they got rid of her. They sort of turned into some sort of angel creature.
I don't remember much because I was, 5?
Yeah. But you also get Convergence, Superman, Man of Steel, and I'm double checking this while we're on here to see if this is who I think it is. And yes, it is. It is Steel.
I was about to make a joke about that, but that is awesome.
Yeah, so there should be some really good stuff.
Oh man, I hope they don't get killed off.
So here's the thing,
they're probably going to get killed off.
There will be a week that features each of some of the more popular storylines, and then each of them are going to be facing some other group. And so this week is 0 Hour week, or at least that timeline in there, and you'll get to see a lot's going on.
Vote on Facebook for which continuities you want to still want to see.
Now, when they're done, we know that there will be some changes even to what the New 52 has been, but we'll see what comes out of it. We're already seeing the June solicits. Before long, we're going to see the July solicits, and we'll know a little bit more about what's coming out of Convergence when we're done.
The August solicits.
Yeah, 1 month at a time, guys.
1
month at a time. At any rate, later this week, we're moving the Comics Week in Review podcast to sort of midweek, so you'll see that later on.
Oh.
But for right now, we sort of gave you a little bit of DC here. We'll be back again next Sunday with more stuff. And if you like us, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like us on Facebook, follow our Twitter feed, and tell somebody so they watch us too. Thanks, and we'll catch you again next week.
And then there's Flash.